Hey everybody, welcome to the God of War 3 Extras video, a nice laid-back video where we're just going to be taking a look at all the extra stuff in God of War 3, starting with the challenges. There are two sets of challenges, the Challenge of Olympus and the Challenge of Exile. In God of War 3 Remaster, which is the version you probably play, you get both. The original version of God of War 3 only included the Challenge of Olympus. I believe the Challenge of Exile was paid DLC. It was a couple of bucks, so that's proving difficult to verify. Anyway, our first challenge is population control. Just kill enemies and survive. Make sure that there are never more than 50 enemies on screen. We have the enemy in Cestus. This is a very straightforward challenge. The challenge of Olympus is nowhere near as difficult as some of the challenge of the Titans or the challenge of the gods from God of War 1. So the challenges from God of War 1 and 2 are more difficult, I think, than the initial set of challenges in God of War 3. These challenges are interesting, though. Some of them are interesting, some of them are very just straightforward. This is very straightforward. This is just kill enemies until the end, until the timer is done. Make sure that there are no more than there aren't more enemies than there should be, and to ensure that, all you gotta do is just punch. The Challenge of Olympus is played on normal difficulty, not on very hard mode, as we played the main game on, so expect things to be a little bit easier. You take less damage, you do more damage, and you take less damage, and, very, very straightforward. This first challenge, just punch, punch, punch. Eventually, you will be done. As soon as the remaining seconds are up. The Challenge of Exile, which we'll also be covering in this part of the video, I think is much more difficult. And it makes sense why that was originally DLC and not part of the original game experience. With that, though, we move on to challenge number 2, which is kill enemies without using weapons. You're not given any weapons, so there is no temptation to accidentally use them. For this challenge, we're going to be relying on the classic God of War 3 thing, where you can pick up enemies and ram them into other enemies. Just pick them up. Just pick them up and ram them. Specifically, ram them into the Talos, because you really want to make sure you take out these Talos as soon as possible with how much health they have. Same with the Cyclops that just showed up. You also want to do that with it. Pushing it around until it's at QTE kill range, or it just dies. But again, very, very straightforward. These challenges are nothing too crazy to write home about. This one making use of the most basic mechanic that you learn in the first two in the first 2 seconds of playing the main story of God of War 3. With all the big enemies dead, it's just a matter of taking care of the little ones. And that should be it, but I think there's like one more sneaky enemy that took its time to spawn up, which almost resulted in me losing. For the challenges, as I always do, I don't show you the failed runs, I just show you the one successful run, so you can see what to do. Just the way I do things. This challenge, break out of being a statue 10 times. This one makes use of a mechanic from God of War 2 that we didn't use too much in God of War 3, just because in Chaos mode it gets kind of hectic to try to do this. Basically, with Gorgons, if you try to grab them, the next thing that they are programmed to do after you try to grab them is to do the stare. So if you want to ensure, if you want to control the pace of the fight and ensure when you get the when you get the stare to allow yourself to be frozen, then just remember that as long as you grab a Gorgon, the next thing that they will always do is try and freeze you. In this challenge, you want to be frozen, and then you want to break out real fast. 10 times. Some of this is just luck-based, just making sure that... Some of it is luck-based, but the enemies here really aren't that aggressive.
Oops.
I got nervous there, though, and started pressing a lot of buttons on my PS5 controller, which meant that the menu for the PS5 popped up there for a minute. I apologize for that. Anyway, we're done with this challenge. Moving on to the next one. The fourth challenge of Olympus. Don't get gored by minotaurs and don't get piled on by enemies. Of these 7 challenges, I would say this one is probably the most difficult. If only because it's I don't know, it's just kind of difficult to not have the enemies pile up on you, or to have the minotaurs do their ram attack, which is how they gore you. If they do try to ram you, you can do the L1 the L1 circle thing to do a shoulder tackle them, and that should work. And if you have a whole bunch of little enemies, you can grab one and ram it into other enemies to give you invincibility frames, and to hopefully stun lock some of them into not trying to pile onto you. This is a deceptively tricky challenge. It's not timed though, so just take your time, get used to it. Do it a few times to get used to it. It took me about 4 tries to do this. Again, of the 7 challenges, I would say this one's the most difficult. Be careful, you can fall off the arena, but Kratos will hang on, but you can fall off. Take advantage of that, though, and push enemies off the arena as well. I've been doing that throughout some of the challenges, including this one. It's a very useful strategy. With that, though, we can move on to the 5th challenge. And the 5th challenge is very easy. Compared to the 4th challenge, the 5th one is very, very straightforward. All we have to do is get one Cyclops Berserker into QTE kill range, which doesn't take too long when you're playing on non-chaos mode. Just a few hits with your Blade of Exile, it's already at QTE kill range. Once you start riding the Berserker, all you have to do is just attack all the things that appear. The Berserker will naturally, the way it works, the Berserker is naturally just going to kick enemies off, so it's not going to take that long for you to start getting lots and lots of points. I have never failed this challenge. I don't know if you can fail this challenge once you start riding the Berserker and mashing the attack button. So just, have fun with this one. This is a very easy gimme challenge that doesn't require too much thought. We are already done. Moving on to challenge 6. They don't die, they multiply. This is an interesting challenge. Basically, we have to get 5 Cyclops to spawn. We start with 1. Once we kill 1, then 2 will spawn. We have to kill 2, then 4, and then once 4 spawn, we kill 1 more to get to 5. You don't have to just kill the Cyclopes. You are allowed to push them off, and that counts as a death. These are the God of War 1 throwback Cyclopes, so you are able to simply stun lock them with square, square, triangle combos. Since this isn't Chaos Mode, they don't do that much damage to you, so I would recommend you just risk doing the square, square, triangle combos as often as you can, just to really speed up the process of killing them. Even if you take a few hits here and there, it doesn't matter. Again, this is not Chaos Mode, so they're not going to be doing that much damage to you. I guess one of the Cyclopes fell, and I didn't see it, because I got really lucky there. Either way, it's done now. Moving on to the final challenge. This is I don't know why this is challenge 7. This is just destroy the urns before the time runs out. A throwback to a few challenges in older God of War games. Not much to it, and just break everything in 30 seconds. Do little rotations with the analog stick as Kratos attacks to get as many urns as possible, and then you're done. There isn't that much to that final challenge. Moving on, though, now that we've completed the challenge of Olympus, it's time to jump into the challenge of Exile. And these are the difficult challenges. This is the paid DLC that where they hid the super difficult things to do. This first one isn't that bad, but it's indicative. It's a prelude to the difficulty spike that you experience between the challenge of Olympus and the challenge of Exile. By the way, there is a trophy for completing the Challenge of Olympus, but not for completing the Challenge of Exile. Challenge of Exile is just bragging rights. There is nothing... You don't get anything for doing the Challenge of Exile, aside from the fact that you can say you did the Challenge of Exile. The first challenge is relatively simple. You do L1 circle to charge up to one of the crows, I guess they're calling them, but the harpies that are up in the air. do a charge attack with what is it, L2 circle? I've been saying L1 circle, but it's L2 circle, and then do L1 circle spin attacks to kill as many crows as possible until you get all 15. You have plenty of time. It's going to take a few tries, but you have plenty of time. Switchblade. This is a very, very difficult challenge. This is one of the most difficult challenges in God of War 3 and in general. This is one of the more difficult challenges in Greek Saga God of War games. You have a set amount of time to kill 50 enemies, and weapons are going to be changing every certain amount of time. The first handful of seconds where you have access to the Blades of Exile, do only square triangle combos to do as much damage as possible to as many of these soldiers as possible. The second set of time here, the second chunk of time, you're going to have access to the Nemesis Whip. The Nemesis Whip section is, I think, the toughest section of the entire thing. Basically, the L1 square is the strategy to go for the Nemesis Whip, and then when you're up in the air, you press that triangle repeatedly. Once you get to the Claws of Hades, you want to use square triangle as much as possible, followed up with some L1 triangle attacks if you can. The Nemesis Whip sections and the Claws of Hades sections are the most difficult ones, but they are the ones that will make or break this run. You have to do as much damage as possible to the Minotaurs in this section, while avoiding the Onyx shielded the Onyx shielded soldiers here. It's a very difficult challenge. Once you have the Nemean Cistus for the final section of time to deal with the Onyx soldiers, you also want to make sure that the Minotaurs have taken enough damage that you can kill them pretty quickly. You want to just use triangle attacks. We don't use triangle attacks that often in the main story, but for these final 30 seconds, you want to just use triangle attacks to effectively deal with these final enemies here, and then just regular attacks to kill them once they're just unarmored soldiers. Challenge 3 is going to be sped up, but basically you just kill a lot of enemies as quickly as possible before Pandora hits the fire. This challenge is also tricky. It can take a few tries. It can take a few tries. But the next challenge after that is really straightforward. Yes, thank you. The challenge after this is very, very straightforward. We're just going to kill Hades' arms. You can do L1 circle to do lots of damage, and before you know it, all the arms will be dead. This is a repeat of simply smashing, except there's a lot more targets here than in that one. But you still have plenty of time, so there's not really a concern that you're going to fail this. This one is not difficult at all. So yeah, that's done. Moving on. We have to break the shields of the Onyx shielded soldiers, but we have to also not kill any enemies. This one can be a little tricky. These soldiers are surprisingly resilient, though. They take quite a few hits from the Nemean Cestus before they actually die, so don't be afraid if you accidentally punch one of these guys once. They're not going to die after they're not that fragile. At the same time, though, of course, you want to move swiftly because you have a limited amount of time here, so run around, punch the shields. It's going to take a few tries, but because it's such a short time challenge, you're going to be able to try this multiple times in a few minutes, and eventually you'll get it. It's not that complicated to get this done. Not that big of an ask, I should say, to get this done. And there we go. Challenge complete. Moving on, we have Hades Kids 2. This is another multiplied challenge. I will see you when it's done. I sped it up. We know how this works, and we know how to fight chimeras from the main story. The final challenge is Fear itself. We have to kill a special boss, Fear Kratos. Fear Kratos is very difficult. It is technically the most difficult enemy of the game. The beginning of the fight, you have a few soldiers that you can use to ram into Fear Kratos, but be careful because Kratos will use those soldiers against you as well. You want to keep these soldiers around for a little while in the beginning because Fear Kratos will divide his attention between the between the soldiers and you, which means that you don't have to face the brunt of Fear Kratos' wrath right from the outset. You have no magic, but you do have access to the Bow of Apollo, which is going to be the key to winning this battle. The cheap way to win this battle, and the only way that I can do it, because I'm not that good at this, is keeping your distance. Keep your distance and use the Bow of Apollo, or use some basic Blade of Exile attacks to just stay safe. There is not that much to this fight. You can use the Rage of Sparta if you want to do some damage after a certain point, but really there isn't much that we can do aside from just keeping our distance and doing lots of damage. Again, there is no trophy for defeating Fear Kratos. There is no trophy for completing the Challenge of Exile. There is no special reward for completing the Challenge of Exile. Just you do it, and you do it, you enjoy, and then you're done. The Challenge of Olympus, on the other hand, has a trophy for completing it, and I think there's another reward, but I need to double check if there is in fact another reward for it. Yes, completing the Challenge of Olympus will award the next thing that we're going to be covering in God of War 3, which is the combat arena. Anyway, there really isn't that much more to say about the Fear Kratos fight. Keep your distance, use Bow of Apollo, use some basic attacks if you can. This is a very, very close fight, very, very difficult and annoying in the wrong ways, but that's why it's locked behind DLC. So I am going to go ahead and leave it here in terms of commentary. This is going to keep playing, but in terms of what I'm doing, you know, nothing's going to change. Nothing is going to be all that radically different. So I'll see you all for the next extra that we cover. All right. The next extra that we're going to be covering for God of War 3 is the Combat Arena. The Combat Arena is unlocked once you complete the Challenge of Olympus. So you do the 7 basic challenges of Olympus, the easy challenges, not the difficult challenges of Exile. You do the Challenge of Olympus and you get access to the Combat Arena. As we've discussed in previous God of War titles, 2 Ghost of Sparta. The Combat Arena really is just quite simply just a place where you can just, you know, have fun with all your powers and stuff. There's very limited backdrops, unfortunately, very limited backgrounds as opposed to Ghost of Sparta and God of War 2, but the backgrounds themselves look impressive. There's just not that many of them. Here we can see the names of every single enemy in the game, so hooray for that. We can finally get confirmation on the names of certain enemies, like the fact that God of War 1 Cyclops are called Cyclops Enforcers. I didn't know that. That's interesting. The big harpies that we used for traversal are just called Harpy Queens. Also didn't know that. That's interesting. The fact that Cerberus hounds are called whelps. That sirens are called siren seductresses. That's all very, very interesting. But jumping into the arena itself, we have all these enemies. You can just have fun here and practice your combos, practice your stuff. Everything is fully powered up as it was at the end of God of War 3. When we got to the end of God of War 3, if you didn't finish powering things up, I think you can finish powering things up here in the combat arena. We can also activate our godly possessions that we collected from the from the main playthrough. Trophies are turned off when you activate these, but my throat got dry there for a second. But you can, if you already have all the trophies for this game, then it doesn't really matter, and you can just turn all these on and have fun. A decent amount of cheats here. The only negative cheat is Hera's Chalice, aka the required possession that you have to get throughout the course of the game. That one is the only one with a negative effect. Go figure that the one possession you have to get throughout the course of the game is the one that has the negative effect for Kratos. Otherwise, the combat arena really is just a place to really is just a place to let loose. There really isn't that much to it. In terms of the amount of extras that God of War 3 has, it is technically equivalent to the amount of extras that God of War 2 has, but I find that 2 is in some ways more substantive with its extras compared to 3. By the way, Aphrodite's Guarded lets you use the Blades of Athena from the beginning of the game, and the associated magic with the Blades of Athena, aka the Blade of Olympus Typhoon magic thing that we were doing in the very first video of this series. Part of the links in the part of the links down below is going to be links for all of the souls that you can unleash with the Claw of Hades. I personally didn't show it off, but there is a video linked below that does show off every single one of the souls if you were curious about that. Moving on, we're going to talk about God of War 3's camera mode. For some reason, my camera here was moving on its own. I don't know why. It's a strange thing that happened. But God of War 3 has a photo mode. It is fine. It's pretty cool. You can see some of the fun photos and meme stuff in links down below. But here I'm just showing off all the basic options with photo mode. Here I'm also showing off the other backdrops. Again, it's kind of disappointing that God of War 3's combat arena only has 3 backdrops. The one we were just in, this one, and the Olympus Summit, where we fought Fear Kratos and did a whole bunch of of challenges. It's kind of disappointing that that's all there is for backdrops. Regardless, that is everything for this particular extra. So I'll see you for the next one. Okay, next up we have an assortment of menus and treasures and trailers and such. So here I'm just showing off all the menus that God of War 3 has, from selecting a new game to loading your game. Look at how far we've come. Look at all those save points. Wow. Impressive. Very cool. You can see that I played on Chaos Mode. Obviously, I've said that so many times throughout the playthrough, you should know by now. I played it on Chaos Mode. Control display, you can make things inverted if you want to. I don't know why you would, but you could. Audio stuff, hooray. Languages, Spanish, Portuguese, really, really cool. The brightness, the screen location, all these basic little features that come included. It's not as expansive as modern day games, but you know, there's stuff here. There is stuff you can play around with. In the treasures, we already went to the challenges in the combat arena, but here are all the videos. I'm not going to be playing them here because we already have stuff that's going to make this video pretty long as it is. But there is a link down below for the playlist for all of these videos if you wanted to if you wanted to watch them and see behind the scenes on how the team at Santa Monica Studio made God of War 3. So that's great. Costumes. I'm not going to be showing off the costumes in this video. Again, there is something that's going to be happening later on in the video that's going to extend the video runtime to something to the point where I'm not going to be showing off the costumes. God of War 3 doesn't have a New Game Plus mode, but you can start over again with these costumes. You can't just jump into saves that you already have, as you'll see in just a moment. When I try to jump into the save with the Fear Kratos costume, I'm not going to be playing as Fear Kratos. I'll be playing as, let's see, once it's done loading, take your time. I'll be playing as regular Kratos. You can only play with the costumes in New Game. You have to start a New Game with these costumes. You can't just jump into the middle of a playthrough with different costumes. Below there is going to be a link for all the costumes and gameplay with all the costumes. So if you were curious about how the game is played with all the costumes, there is a link below with that for you. As usual, I apologize if you hear any background noise. Again, every day I decide to record is always the day that something is going on outside. As it must be. So it shall be. Regardless, these are all of the costumes. Nice. Some references to some deep-cut God of War lore, including Dominus, which was the original name for Kratos for a while. Originally, he was going to be named Dominus. That's great. After this, we're going to be taking a look at some basic menus outside in the PS5, including some synopses for the game. So that is going to have music playing over it. So I am going to call it and say that this is the end of this extra. I'll see you all next time. Real quick, though, there is a link below to a secret regarding the trophies of God of War 3 in the original PlayStation 3 release. You can learn a little bit more about that as this other information comes up. We're going to have a trailer that plays. There's more trailers down below. Feel free to check those out. I will see you all for the final extra.
How do you know of me?
Everyone knows who you are.
The ghost of Sparta.
The god of war.
Murderer of Gaia.
The destroyer of Atlantis.
The God Slayer.
Brother.
Father.
my son.
PlayStation.
Brother, I've heard my share of stories about your homeland, but I've also heard that you once fought in a tournament.
I fought in many contests.
But this particular one, I heard you did battle with beasts, scoundrels, princesses, the undead, automatons, and history's greatest musician. That's not true, is it?
I would not speak of this.
Fair enough, brother.
Come with me, Gaia! Return to my time! Victory awaits! This entire city, destroyed by a god driven mad by jealousy, envy of his own son. Even now, they sit on their crumbling thrones and presume to judge their former puppet. While below, the titans I have summoned await me, ready to march on Olympus and correct so many of the mistakes of the past. But if I am to lead an army as mighty as the titans, I must prove my worth. There remain those who call themselves heroes. There is even talk of one who considers himself a god, issuing challenges to all who would answer. Heed my words, mortals. Tread lightly on the earth. Beware the ghost of Sparta!
Well, this'll be something, I suppose. Welcome, one and all, to the final thing that we're talking about for God of War 3. It's technically not God of War 3. We are discussing other media, aka Kratos' appearance in other titles. If you want to see, if you want to see things like you know, the manual and all that stuff, you will be able to. Don't worry about that. You will still be able to review the digital game manual and all that stuff. That's all linked up in the extras below. But the other thing I decided to include for this final video of God of War 3, for God of War 3 and for the end of the God of War, of the end of the God of War Saga, is discussing Kratos' appearances in other games. The most substantive one is PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. Because there's actually a story that ties into that little, ever so brief period of time between Kratos' appearances in, at the end of God of War 2 and the beginning of God of War 3. So that's why I decided to cover this one to a massive extent. But all the other appearances that I could find are linked below, so you can check those out. Alright, PlayStation's All-Stars Battle Royale is a crossover fighting video game. It's developed by Superbot Entertainment in conjunction with Santa Monica Studio. Published by Sony for the PS3, when? It released, when it released? Released November 20th, 2012. Cool. Let's see. Superbot and Santa Monica worked on the game. Bluepoint worked on the Vita version of the game. Phenomenal. Let's see. PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale is, of course, obviously PlayStation's response to Super Smash Bros. That didn't work out, although this game does have a cult following that people really enjoy, and there's some reasons for that. One of those reasons is the background right now. The big twist of PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale is that instead of just having arenas that are representative of one character or one franchise, the arenas in this game combine multiple franchises, 2 franchises per arena. So every single arena in this game has, one character's environment clash, pretty violently with another character's environment, which is pretty cool. It's a really neat little aesthetic gimmick that separates All-Stars Battle Royale from Smash Bros. Or Multiverses or any other of the what's it called? Nicktoons Brawl, or the Nickelodeon Smash Bros. Clone. This is a really neat gimmick that separates All-Stars from the other ones, which is one of the reasons I think that All-Stars has the cult following that it does. So All-Stars Battle Royale allows up to 4 players to fight on screen, uses characters from various PlayStation franchises, of course, obviously. Every character has their own combat style. A special move is unleashed when the special meter reaches its full potential. Fantastic. Special moves for each character are activated when the meter at the bottom builds up to the very top. Stages are inspired by 2 different franchises per stage. Cool. The list of characters that we have in this game, by the way, that was one whole battle. I never played this game before. I always wanted to, but I never had the opportunity. So this is not my gameplay. Source is down below. Now we're just going faster to because there really isn't that much more I have to say except to list off the characters in this game. So we have Kratos, we have Sly Cooper, Male Radic, Sweet Tooth, Fat Princess, Parappa, Nathan Drake, the Big Daddy, Heihachi Mishima, I probably mispronounced that, Toru Inoue, Jack and Daxter, Cole McGrath, Ratchet and Clank, Spike, Dante, Sackboy, the evil Cole McGrath, which is a very Dr. Mario move, Raiden, Sir Daniel Fortescue, Narugo, Kat, Emmett Graves, and Isaac Clarke. And one more character, but we're not going to discuss that character just yet. The reason we're covering PlayStation All Stars, again, substantive. It actually connects in loosely with the story of God of War. Loosely, it connects with the story of God of War, but it does technically connect, and the fact that Mimir brings it up in Ragnarok officially makes it canon, which is kind of fun. Yeah. PlayStation All Stars. I've always wanted to play this game. Never had the opportunity. Also, never really played all the other games that Kratos makes appearances in. So you can see those games down below. Never really played all those games either. I've always wanted to play All Stars Battle Royale though. It seems really fun. The reason I'm not going to be doing full playthroughs of All Stars Battle Royale, it's not that interesting to do a full playthrough on. It's just a lot of fighting, so not really any reason to get into it. So we're just going to skip ahead now to much later on where we actually get some story stuff, and we will go from there, I guess. Right? Yeah, we'll just go from there. So
another demon sent by this so-called god. He can join the rest.
My ice cream cone. That was a mistake, buddy.
A mistake I can correct, if you like.
Maybe you didn't hear me, friend. There's a debt here, and I'm ready to settle up.
Stand aside.
Pick that up and pay for it.
The ghost of Sparta bends to no mortal.
Power is an illusion. Absolute power is a seamless illusion.
Towards the end of the adventure, Kratos encounters a rival character that you have a basic fight with, and then you encounter Polygon Man, who is the final boss of PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. Polygon Man has a unique battle. Again, I don't play PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, so I don't really know how it all works, but he does, so I'm showing it off. Good stuff. Again, I've always wanted to play PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. If you want more in-depth coverage on how this game came to be, there is a link down below for the What Happened episode of PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale by Matt McMuscles, so you can go ahead and check that video out as well. It's in the link in the description below, along with a whole bunch of other stuff, so that you can check out the story behind the creation of All-Stars Battle Royale and why we don't have another one at this point in time. Will we ever get another one? I'm not sure, but it'd be nice. I never played the first one. It'd be nice to have an updated one for the PlayStation 5. We've been getting a whole bunch of Smash Bros. Clones over the years. I think All-Stars Battle Royale had the most potential of them all, although you look at the list of characters and not many of them are super duper recognizable. I mean, there's plenty of true icons and stuff, but it'd be nice if they got the rights to if they got the rights to incorporate, you know, like Crash Bandicoot or Spyro or other characters like that into a new PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale game. Just to acknowledge that even though they're not necessarily part of, you know, PlayStation exclusives anymore, it'd be nice to acknowledge the old days of PlayStation back in those early days, and, you know, include new characters, you know, Aloy from Horizon or.
Victory! How could this happen? None have beaten me until now.
Once again, those foolish enough to stand against me have learned the folly of such actions. My destiny lies not with mortals. I must topple Olympus, and all who occupy it once and for all. Titans! The son of Zeus has returned! Our hour is at hand, and we march now upon the gods! No creature sent from Earth, Olympus, or Hades itself can withstand our assault. And to Zeus, and the Cretans who kneel at his feet, I bring an army unlike any you have fought before. The ghost of Sparta brings ruin to Olympus.
There is trouble in Olympus, and great turmoil in the mortal world. Souls from across the universe amass to do battle, including my own son. All in service of a self-proclaimed god. An impostor who lays claim to the very creation of all. I have forbidden the gods from interfering in the affairs of mortals. Olympus must remain removed from the clamor below. But Kratos has shown what can happen when those not born of Olympus attain too much power. I will put a stop to this madness, and to anyone who dares stand in my way.
Alright, so the final character that appeared in All-Stars Battle Royale I don't know if it was the final character ever appeared, but it's definitely a DLC character, Zeus from God of War, who has his own story that also loosely connects to the to the canon of the God of War Greek saga. Therefore, we're going to be covering it here as well. Zeus has his own gameplay style. He was DLC. I believe he was paid DLC, so you had to pay to play as him. We're not going to be going super in depth with Zeus, because we already saw the basic machinations of how this game is played with Kratos, and it's not that different. It's one of the reasons why I'm not doing a full playthrough of All Stars Battle Royale. It'd just be doing this over 10 times with different characters and seeing their slightly different stories. So I didn't want to do that, so I decided instead we're just gonna, talk over other people's footage. Again, the source is stated below, and it's also linked, so you can also check the original videos out and support those videos by checking out the links below. Or cards. There might be cards as well. We'll see. Not much more to say. We're at the end of our God of War Greek Saga journey. After this, we're going to be talking about... After this, there's going to be one more epilogue video with... One more epilogue video regarding the 2021 Dark Horse comic miniseries, and then that's it for the Greek Saga. I don't plan on doing the Norse games, boy, for a very, very long time, if ever. It's a long time before I decide to do the Norse games at this point in time. So yeah, hope you've been enjoying. We got some cutscenes coming up with Zeus' story.
This is the handiwork of the Pretender. It looks like a mortal child's plaything. Is it you who has constructed this place?
Hey, I just got here myself.
A mortal! You dare raise your hand against a god? Explain yourself before I make you kneel.
I'm afraid I can't do that. I've seen too much happen too quickly around here.
Perhaps you thought I was making a request. Let me make myself clear! You will pay with your life for your insolence.
Yeah, so basic combat with the rival character. Every single story ends with a fight with a rival character, and then a fight with Polygon Man, the final boss. The Polygon Man is the final boss for every single for every single character in this game.
Power is an illusion. Absolute power is a seamless illusion.
And here's that encounter. Pretty straightforward. Again, reason why I don't let's play fighting games. There's not that much to say, really. Therefore, I'm not going to. I hope you all enjoyed the extras video. Again, lots of links down below for extra stuff that I didn't talk about, or just expansions on things that I did talk about. I hope you all enjoyed. I will see you all next time for, whatever comes next. Bye-bye.
How could this happen? None have beaten me until now.
It has been too long since I've been back to Olympus. I have restored order on Earth, where before there was only chaos. To do so, the most unruly of mortals had to be reminded of their place, and the so-called god stripped of his pretense. The threat posed by Kratos is real. It must be dealt with decisively. He must be made aware of the power that the gods of Olympus possess. And if he thought he would simply stride to Olympus, He will soon enough see what a mistake that is. My brothers, we were forged in victory. The mortal Kratos seeks to destroy all that I have wrought. We will unite. We will stand together. And I will wipe out this plague. Olympus will prevail.
Zeus! Your son has returned. I bring the destruction of Olympus!
Everyone died. The end.